Hello, I'm Jeanette Wider, and I am Managing Editor of Healthcare Innovation. And today I'm here with Michael to talk about cybersecurity. So Michael, why don't we start by you introducing yourself, your title, your background, your role, anything you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, thank you, Jeanette. Nice to be here. And thank you for having me. So I'm Michael Gurelik. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Morphisec, a breach prevention company. I'm also leading the malware research and the incident response at Morphisec. I had the opportunity to present at multiple conferences, and I jointly hold more than 7 patents in the IT cyberspace.
Okay, so I'll just hop right into it if that's okay with you.
Sure, yeah.
So obviously we all know that the threat vectors have intensified recently. Do you see the same thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are many kind of indications for the intensification of the threat actors, both with regard to ransomware attacks, which is significantly increased in its sophistication. We do see this political landscape change, which also impacted the sophistication of attackers from different reasons. We see an increase attacking on healthcare on a yearly basis, and this year it broke the peaks about, I think, 9 million cost of one breach in average. More than 500 breach cases only this year, and an attack, I think, ransomware attack happening every 10 to 11 seconds. It's crazy. So yeah, the sophistication with this latest Fulina exploit, go through the phishing and directly to very quick lateral movement. Attackers are controlling the network within hours and minutes. You know, if we were talking about a year or two ago, it happened like it took them months, maybe in some cases days. We're talking about attackers within hours have a full control over the network. So it's quite intense, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So you touched on this, I think, a little bit, but I'd like to specifically talk about the threat posed by state actors, foreign governments becoming involved in purely destructive cyber attacks, like wiper attacks against health organizations in the US. How can leaders prepare for this kind of craziness?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, with this whole thing with Russia and Ukraine, the war that has happening, even during the first 1-2 months, we saw those strain of wipers, the KD wiper, and others. Some of our customers, we saw the attempts to attack using those wipers. We see this with the political landscape, Iran, Israel. There was a strain of ransomware attacks and other attacks, even info stealing attack, information stealing, IP stealing, and essentially destructive to the organization, which there is no recovery for organization. North Korea, the same. I mean, just a couple of days ago, the Maui ransomware, I think it was 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, a new strain of ransomware. You see the notification from the CERT and the FBI. There is an increase from nation-sponsored actors to do destructive operations. Any business, there's kind of belief that businesses say, hey, I don't have an important IP, I will not be attacked. But nation-sponsored today, actors don't differentiate. I mean, they do a distraction, whether you're education kind of sector or whether you are a healthcare sector. And the most distraction obviously is on healthcare sector and critical systems kind of that you need. So you need to approach to this problem that, hey, you are the target. Now, how do you reduce the risk as much as possible? And believe me, almost every organization will be attacked during the next year. So how do you assess your risk properly? How do you think about deep depth defense approach? And if you complement all those kind of stages of the deep depth defense approach and assess risk rightfully, do a network segmentation, provide a prevention solution for runtime, provide visibility for your network, and assess your resources, you'll be good. Your business, your institution will be in a lower risk than others. And attackers will always use the easier target, the others. So yeah, and this is where you want to be.
Okay. So how quickly are patient care organization leaders adopting advanced strategies, including behavioral monitoring, auditing of backups, advanced network segmentation, and the engagement of security operations centers?
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's an interesting question. You know, though there was a trend that healthcare was kind of behind for a couple of years, behind everyone else, maybe aside the education. There is an increased thinking, there is an increased understanding of the current landscape, threat landscape, and the risk, especially because, hey, healthcare is being attacked, one of the most biggest attack kind of targets today. So there is a change in thinking. We do have quite a lot of customers that start to adopt deep depth defense approach, protect the runtime, use moving target defense, which is our technology to protect this attack surface against those advanced fileless and in-memory attacks. So there is an understanding, and there is early adopters, and there are even healthcare, smaller businesses as well as bigger ones that do their risk assessment appropriately. There is still a gap. I mean, they still need to come closer to do more work. I do see those kind of societies that the CISOs talk with each other. There is a need, obviously, with regard to regulation. You know, we know HIPAA. There's the need for regulation and for the government to do some more forceful operations, because right now they move quite slowly. And sometimes the regulation can be interpreted in many different ways and not necessarily deterministic. And when the regulation move, such as the ones that you have with the FSA and pen testing requirements, if they will move quite quicker, and will be like penalties higher, and there will be a requirement, hey, again, it's personal health information. I believe that some of those health kind of organizations will move quicker. It will shift left, right.
Okay. And finally, what kinds of upgraded capabilities must the vendor community as a whole be prepared to offer patient care organizations?
Yeah, it's also a good question. And I mentioned it somewhere at the start. There's kind of acceptance. Hey, let's do what all others do. Let's install this known EDR that provides visibility. This is a good decision, installing it, because hey, you need to treat with your, you need to handle your known threat. You need to have visibility of your network, but you need also to prevent the attack. Not only detect it and see the visibility all across, you need also to prevent it. And the earlier you prevent it, the less resources you will need to remediate or eradicate or contain the event on the later stage. The less you need to spend on incident response or your expertise. So basically, there is this need for upgrading the capabilities, to adding additional layer of protection for runtime, for memory, where the current solutions have zero visibility, right? Most of the visibility comes, hey, on the impact on the system, but what happens during the execution of this malicious malware or this malicious intent, you don't know. You don't have this visibility. So there is a need to upgrade the capability to deal with this runtime execution, right? And this is exactly what we provide.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for taking the time to have this chat with me today. It was very interesting.
Thank you, Jeanette. It was nice being here. Thanks.